The sun dipped below the edge of the great big sea, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple before it disappeared completely. High on his cliff, on a coastline of rugged, dark rocks, stood Beacon. Beacon was a little lighthouse, but his job was a very big one. All night long, his great, shining white light would spin around and around, sending a powerful, friendly beam across the water. That beam was a hello to the stars, a good night to the seagulls, and most importantly, a safe path home for every boat on the sea. Beacon loved his job. He felt proud and steadfast, which is a big word for being strong and steady and reliable, just like a lighthouse should be. But on this particular night, as the first stars began to twinkle like little diamonds in the velvety blue sky, something unexpected happened. There was a soft pop, and then a fizzle, and then nothing. Beacon's great, big, beautiful white light went dark. Not a flicker. Not a glimmer. The world suddenly felt much, much bigger and much, much darker. A tiny shiver, not from cold but from worry, ran all through Beacon's stone walls. How would the boats see him? How would they know which way to go? The rocky channel below was very tricky and very dangerous in the dark. Beacon felt a deep sense of duty. He had to find a way to shine. He just had to. He thought and thought, his mind whirring like his light usually did. And then he remembered. Around his middle, he had 3 smaller lights. They weren't big and powerful like his main beam. They were smaller, like little jewels. One was a red light, one was a green light, and one was a smaller white light. They were usually sleeping, but maybe, just maybe, they could help. With a great deal of concentration, Beacon managed to wake up the little red light. It glowed to life. Not a scary red, but a warm, steady warning red. It was the red of a perfect ripe apple, a signal to be careful and to stop. It shone bravely out into the growing darkness. But one little red light was not enough to cut through the vast, empty night. And then something else began to happen. A thick, fuzzy white blanket began to roll in from the sea. It was fog, a deep, dense, foggy mist that swallowed up the stars and made everything disappear. It swirled around Beacon's base, soft and cold and silent. Now, even if a boat was out there, it wouldn't be able to see his little red light through this fuzzy gray wall. Beacon's worry grew a little bigger. What could he do now? He had to be ingenious. That's another big word that means being clever and finding a smart way to solve a problem. He couldn't make one big light, but maybe he could use his 3 small lights together. He woke up his second light, the little green one. It glowed with a bright, cheerful, go-ahead green. It was the green of new spring leaves, a happy and safe color. Now he had red and green shining together. But the fog was so very thick. The lights were trying their best, but their beams were short and got lost in the fluffy grayness. Beacon had to be even more ingenious. He remembered that his main job was to spin, to show a moving light so it could be seen from far away. Could he make his colored light spin? It was very hard, but Beacon was very steadfast. He focused all his energy and began to turn, very slowly. His red and green lights began to move, cutting little paths through the fog. It was a start, but was it enough? Just then, a low, lonely sound drifted through the foggy silence. It was a deep, echoing honk. It was the sound of a boat's horn, and it didn't sound happy and confident. It sounded lost and a little bit scared. Beacon's heart, if a lighthouse has a heart, beat faster. Someone was out there. Someone needed his help. The sense of duty swelled inside him. He had to try harder. He woke up his third light, the smaller white light. It glowed with a pure, clear, friendly white, like a single bright star you can wish upon. Now all 3 of his little lights were awake, red, green, and white, all spinning together around his middle. They looked like a magical, colorful necklace of light, dancing in the fog. But the boat was still far away, and the fog was so very foggy. The captain of that boat would see just little blurs of color. Would the captain understand what they meant? Beacon spun a little faster, making the colors flash. Red, green, white, red, green, white. He was sending a message with his lights. A colorful, silent message into the night. Out in the deep, dark, foggy water, the little fishing boat, named the Salty Sprout, was indeed very lost. The fog had come up so quickly, and the captain could not see the shore or the stars. All he could see was fuzzy grayness everywhere. He knew the rocky channel was nearby, and that was a very dangerous place to be. He felt a knot of worry in his tummy. Where was the steadfast lighthouse? Where was Beacon? And then, through a swirl in the fog, he saw something. A soft, colorful glow in the distance. A flash of red. Then a flash of green. Then a glimmer of white. It was there and then gone, hidden again by the mist. What could it be? The captain peered forward, his hands tight on the wheel. He saw the red flash again. He knew that red meant stop, be careful, danger. He slowed the boat down immediately. That was a very smart thing to do. Then he saw the green light, a bright, hopeful emerald sparkle in the gray. And he knew that green meant go, safe, this way is clear. The white light shone like a friendly wink, guiding him forward. The captain's worried frown began to soften. Those weren't just random lights. That was a message. That was Beacon. The little lighthouse was talking to him without using any words at all, using a secret code of color. Red meant stop, there are rocks here, be still. Green meant go, this way is safe, follow me. White meant follow my light, I will lead you home. Guided by the flashes of red that told him where not to go, and the beams of green and white that showed him the safe path, the salty sprout began to move carefully through the water. The boat followed the dancing colors, trusting the little lighthouse completely. Beacon spun and spun, his colored lights blazing, his steadfast spirit never wavering. He was doing his duty. He was guiding his friend. Slowly, carefully, the boat navigated the tricky, rocky channel. The dangerous rocks, hidden by the dark water and the fog, were no match for Beacon's ingenious, colorful code. The red light warned them away every time. Finally, the salty sprout chugged out into the calm, safe waters of the bay. The fog was thinner here, and the captain could see the friendly glow of the little lighthouse's 3 lights, still spinning steadily. The boat gave one last happy honk of thanks. It was a sound of relief and gratitude. Beacon felt a warm, proud glow spread from his very top all the way down to his stone foundation. He had done it. He hadn't used his big light, but he had used his ingenuity and his steadfast heart to solve the problem. He had used his red, his green, and his white lights to speak the language of safety and friendship. The fog began to slowly lift, drifting away back out to sea as if it knew its job was done. The stars came out again, twinkling down as if to say, "Well done, Beacon. Well done." The little lighthouse kept his colored lights shining all through the night, a cheerful, spinning beacon of hope and color. And as the first rays of the morning sun began to light up the sky, what do you think happened? There was a gentle click and a soft hum. Beacon's great big main white light flickered once, twice, and then shone out, strong and powerful and bright once more. It was fixed. Beacon was so happy to feel his big beam spinning again, but he would never forget how helpful his little colored lights had been. He knew that no matter what happened, he would always be ready. He would always be steadfast. He would always find a way to shine his light and guide the way. Because that is the duty of a lighthouse, big or small. And who knows what the next night will bring? Perhaps a storm with howling winds, or a curious little seal who needs a bright spot to play near. But whatever it is, Beacon the little lighthouse will be ready, shining steady and true for his next adventure. Moral: duty means finding a way to help others, no matter how small you are, by being clever, persistent, and steadfast.